Quantum mechanics is the study of physics at the subatomic level. When studying and observing atoms and particles at so minute a scale, you begin to see strange things. Matter itself begins to act strangely. During my time in learning about atoms, quantum mechanics, and how matter operates at the Planck scale, I've learned that mathematics is but a philosophy within itself. That through studying the quantum realm and advanced mathematics, the principles and formulas that help explain a world unseen can actually be scaled up into the human world and used to your advantage. I've developed a philosophy, or a mental formula, which I call the quantum strategy, in becoming the quantum man. This philosophy is based on the definition of the word quantum, as well as the characteristics of the common atom, specifically the electron. The definition of the word quantum, simply put, is the smallest viable amount of a thing. Atoms and the subatomic particles that they are made of are the building blocks of matter, the universe itself. An atom is comprised of any number of a proton, neutron, and electron. Protons and neutrons make up the center, or nucleus, of an atom. Electrons are ever-moving wave particles that spin around that nucleus. Our main focus in this presentation is the electron. As mentioned, electrons are wave particles that encompass the nucleus of the atom. They form shells or clouds around the atom. The most basic atom holds one single electron. This is called an unpaired electron. Unpaired electrons are also known as valence electrons. These unpaired valence electrons hold an electromagnetic charge, which gives them an attraction to other unpaired electrons. When two unpaired electrons attract, they pair up, increasing in charge. A single electron is considered to be in the microquantum state and are considered to be fermions. A unique feature of two electrons paired together is that they behave as a boson, opening up the macroquantum state. Electrons move in waves, meaning that they have some form of emanation. An electron is most efficient when it moves along the bleeding edge of a superconductor. A superconductor is any material, usually metal, that allows highly efficient movement of electrons. A common characteristic of a superconductor is that they are usually super cold. If you leave a magnet in the freezer, making it as cold as you can, that magnet will have a greater field of magnetism than if you left it at room temperature. This is due to the slowing down of the atoms in that magnet, allowing for greater alignment of electrons. Once given a charge, the electrons flowing through that super cold magnet or conductor are given an extreme ease of movement through the medium due to extreme lack of friction. This extreme lack of friction is called superfluidity. Superfluids are any liquid, such as liquid hydrogen, that contains zero friction, zero viscosity, zero loss of kinetic energy. They have the uncanny ability to flow through and in between the smallest of channels or cracks, even down to the molecular level. A common characteristic of a superfluid is that they are usually super cold. Magnets and electricity go hand in hand. Just like a magnet moves in waves, electrons do as well. Magnets are all about waves and attraction. In quantum physics, there is a tool called the magnetic trap. This device has the capability to capture the magnetic moment of single atoms. With this understanding, we can move into the layout and philosophy of the quantum strategy. Number 1, niche over mass. The first thing to understand, in keeping with our definition of quantum, is that the small and the niche overtakes the large or massive, meaning you are the smallest, the electron, and therefore the most powerful, a wave particle encompassing a nucleus or the base. Number 2, expand without, develop within. At the base, you must determine whether your campaign or task at hand is either introverted or extroverted, what I term expanding without or developing within. If your campaign is extroverted, you start small and progress outwards. If introverted, you begin at the outskirts and zero inwards. For example, technology, if seen as a measure of man's knowledge, begins bulky and large and becomes smaller and more streamlined as it is refined. Education starts rudimentarily and later focuses down into specialties. Number 3, float with an anchor. The base is also your foundation, your store of knowledge, your skills, your values, etc. Your relation to this space is as a boat to an anchor. The base, the anchor, is what you use to move in the world while maintaining a fallback that you can rely on. As the boat floats on the water, it moves up and down as the waves dictate. Using this analogy, you can see the boat, which is you, as maintaining its base while adapting to the ever-changing environment, or, as you will see in the next point, diversifying and intersecting. Float with an anchor. Number 4, own nothing, control everything. Simply put, the light touch. This goes back to being a superconductor and a superfluid. As the electron, you stay on the bleeding edge of the medium. In this analogy, you are also the medium, or the go-between of the outside world, and the nucleus, or base, which you surround. As the medium, the electron, it is your duty to dictate what you wish to attract to your space, your shell, your cloud of influence. When you pair yourself to another electron, you allow them access to your sphere, as they allow you access to their sphere. With this access, you can rent, borrow, open source, or outsource whatever you deem fit. This can be seen as number 5, access to everything, taking only what you need. An electron is not picky in choosing what electrons it interacts with. However, they can repel each other based on their respective charges. An electron, being negatively charged, is always attracted to the positive charge of the atom's nucleus. Being an electron yourself, you may be repelled by the presentation or looks of another, but never allow that to deter you from accessing the nucleus that they are holding. No two electrons can occupy the same space unless they are spinning in opposite directions. Understand, you can be going to the same place, just taking different directions. Number 6, strong ties. Within these pairings or connections, there are what I like to call strong ties and weak ties. These ties may present themselves at any point. However, I like to see them as strong ties first, weak ties second. Strong ties comprise of your independent resources and complex problem solving, or the strategies that you are using. They are the fixed components of your shell. Strong ties are used to penetrate an area, providing a foothold. While you should enter every situation with independent resources of your own, weak ties can be used to bridge ties so that they eventually become strong ties. Number 7, weak ties. Weak ties comprise of the various connections you may make along the way, as well as new opportunities, ideas, and information. Also, any ways you may diversify your abilities. Weak ties are seen as a variable component and are therefore more fluid in their use. As strong ties penetrate an area, weak ties expand, providing greater reach through your connections. If strong ties are the strategy component, giving the big picture and the main goals of the plan, weak ties are the tactical component, the tools of the trade that allow you to connect or move from point A to point B. These are the key components of the quantum strategy. In order to fulfill the entirety of the quantum strategy, you must have an idea of the goal you are trying to achieve. What is the problem, the issue? What is the task at hand? To better organize these components of the quantum strategy, they can be situated within 3 levels, in accordance to how developed your plan is to achieving your goal. The first being 1. Make a plan / know your field. This comprises your base, number 1, and understanding the nature of your campaign, either expanding without or developing within, 2. Number 2, preserve / protect the plan. This is where you Float with your anchor, taking us back to number 3. And begin interacting with others in the field, which is 4 and 5. Maintaining your plan and fleshing out your strategy, number 6. Number 3, adapt the plan. Never let it be destroyed. In executing your plan, you must now fluctuate between keeping your strategy intact, which is number 6, while at the same time adapting to your reality, number 7. Always stick to the plan, but maintain realism. In short, you can summarize the quantum strategy as thus. The electron, you, are a wave particle. The wave, which makes itself seen. The electron is encompassing a nucleus, which is the base. By increasing attraction, you eventually gain increased mass, whether it be fame, money, reward, or recognition. Staying on the bleeding edge, which is the superconductor. Staying on the bleeding edge as a liaison, a medium, a vessel, a gateway. Facing adversity while leaning on your foundation, your base. In doing so, follow these 3. Maintaining zero friction, which means you are unstoppable and constantly moving. Be super cold, which means that you are staunch in your belief, unwavering in following code and plan. And number 3, move through the narrow channels without friction. That is, working in the uncontested, new, niche, unsaturated areas, being at the forefront or the bleeding edge of progress. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.